By the end of the day, we will go from 8-4 as we head inside Pizza Hut Stadium for the first of our quarterfinal matchups. It's CleffTheGod taking on LilMan, and it will be LilMan starting off with the ball on offense first. Let's get to know CleffTheGod a little bit better from Oak Hill, Florida. Over $63,000 in career earnings, but talking to Kleck, it's all about the belt. He wants to solidify that he is one of the top players by putting that belt around his waist. Taking a look at his abilities, TD, what do you see?
Yeah, you talk to Kleck, and he just loves that Mike Vick, and you see the abilities here. Hot route master, identifier, escape artist, but that agile extender stands out to me. He's going to be able to break some tackles from blitzing DBs, and then he has some weapons on the outside, man. Torrey Holt in the slot. We know how good he is with that playmaker, that slot-o-matic. John Ross, all that speed with cross specialists, post specialists, and we know Kleck in that West Coast offensive playbook, one of the best passers, also in Miami on defense.
On the flip side, the Jersey Shore represented by Justin Barone, a.k.a. LilMan, one of the most consistent players in the MCS, $77,000 in career earnings, had a really nice year, and you look at that ladder record, he plays a ton of games. Take a look at LilMan's abilities, TD. It's all about that nasty streak.
Yeah, LilMan's ability is all about that offensive line. Remember, he didn't bring a quarterback to the dance, so it's Colton Miller with nasty streaks, secure protector. He's got a great running back in Gale Sayers as well. He also has other offensive linemen like Brian O'Neill with nasty streaks, secure protector. And that Frank Clark is something to look out for. You know, Kleck's going to be very pass-heavy. That power specialist in the middle for LilMan could be very important. LilMan in that Oakland Raiders offensive playbook, he's very run-heavy, as we know. And then in the New York Jets on defense.
Audibles are set. The players are locked in. I hope you guys got some popcorn because we have 4 $10,000 games of Madden here in the quarterfinals. We'll go from 8-4 by the end of the day, and tomorrow night on ESPN2, we will crown a Madden 20 champion. Clash of styles here in this first quarterfinal matchup, and LilMan, he's going to be representing the runners left in this tournament. We've seen him pound the rock all tournament long, and he's using that Gale Sayers. Galloping Gale, the Kansas Comet at the top of the eye. Tressway, the punter, at quarterback, and already a timeout taken by Kleck. Love the early use of the timeout to get your defense set.
First play of the game, timeout, and Kleck, you know, making sure everything's set up correctly. He didn't like what he saw. LilMan coming out in that I form close, and boy, Nick, the stakes do not get any bigger. $10,000 game, 8 guys left to be crowned the best player in Madden 20.
LilMan started playing Madden professionally in Madden 06. We talked about this 11-year rivalry. He's been considering himself a Madden pro since he was born. Sayers trying to get outside. Good start for Kleck's defense as Bosa able to bring him down for a loss.
Goes with the power O to the outside. Kleck is all over it. And Nick, we've talked about it. This really is the grudge match between these two guys. You know, Kleck, he went by the future back in 09, 12 years old. LilMan was only 20 at that point, and Kleck was able to win that game in the final 8 of Players Bowl. And then fast forward to group play last week, LilMan was able to get the best of Kleck. So this really is the grudge match, and it's the most important game in their careers against each other.
These guys battled in group play. It was LilMan getting the better of CleffTheGod, and that game was sort of the story of how LilMan was able to win so much. It was defense that locked down Kleck, and Kleck unable to stop the rushing attack. 2 carries for Gale Sayers, already going better for CleffTheGod, heading into a 3rd and 8. He's back into that single back formation. 2 tight ends to the left side.
There we go.
Basically 2 tight ends on the right side. As look at Kleck getting the stop early, and that's got to give some confidence after he wasn't really able to stop LilMan's rushing attack in group play.
The story for Kleck's whole season kind of has been his inability to stop the run. You know, he's had a great season. He made the finals, the challenge, but his problem has been stopping that run. And as we saw on this first drive here, just a phenomenal job. He's made some adjustments these past couple days in the lab. Spent all night up ready for LilMan, and first drive, great defense.
As 4th and 8, LilMan will punt this one away, try to pin Kleck deep. He's going to give Reed an opportunity to return it. Inside the 15, inside the 25-yard line. We'll get to the 28-yard line. And TD, let's revisit that win yesterday for Kleck over Henry. What can that sort of emotional comeback do for a player now that they're going into the quarterfinals and know that they were close to losing their last life in the tournament, but were able to persevere?
Man, what a game that was. I mean, Kleck fought back so much, 17 unanswered to win. And, when you get that first game under your belt, the first game's always the toughest. And then you get all the momentum, you get your swagger back, you have a crazy ending like we saw in the way he performed to win that game. It does a lot for your confidence, for your momentum. You feel like you can beat anyone. We know Henry is probably a top 3 as far as consistent players this year. Kleck was able to fight back, take him out. So he's got all the momentum in the world right now going up against LilMan.
TD, you and I know, having watched a lot of Madden, you can talk about stick skills, you can talk about scheme. Momentum is real in the game of Madden.
Without a doubt, it's so important. Like I said, when you get that first game out of the way, you get the, shake the cobwebs off in a sense. You get onto that second game, and Kleck's feeling great. LilMan's feeling great too, though. I mean, he went 3-0, so both these guys are ready for this moment.
And all the time in the world for Vic to throw, but nowhere to throw to, is he'll hit that little delay fade from Winslow, and he'll pick up a first down. Good patience by Kleck and recognition to release the tight end.
Excellent patience right there by Kleck. LilMan giving him a little match concept there in the secondary, and nothing was open. Kleck waited for his delay fade route with the tight end, one of the best routes in Madden 20. He's able to release him at the last second and pick up a nice first down to Kellen Winslow.
We asked Kleck, did that win yesterday solidify you as a top guy? And in typical Kleck fashion, he said, I feel like I've already solidified myself as a top guy. It's just resume building at that point. He's got his eye on the prize. First down and 10. Mike Vick at quarterback for CleffTheGod. He'll be running out of this gun bunch formation. As Vick waiting, looking, only a 3-man rush once again. He'll get outside the pocket. Once again, he'll hit Winslow on that little delay fade. He'll pick up another first down. First 2 pass plays for Kleck. LilMan's only sending 3.
Looks like Kleck has found an answer for that coverage match defense. LilMan only sending 3. He has what match coverage is it's a zone look, and then they kind of turn into man defense once they match onto the routes. Kleck recognizing that, and he's being very patient, just waiting for his tight end to come out on that delay fade. And boy, 2 plays and 2 big plays to Kellen Winslow.
Kleck's offense is moving, and you know that Kleck with the budding confidence from yesterday's win after what was an inconsistent group play. He's feeling good. You saw how emotional he was in that interview, and shows you the fire and the passion. As here comes a blitz, and Kleck gets outside the pocket. He'll slide down at the 28-yard line. Good use of the mobile Virginia Tech Hokie.
That's why he loves that Mike Vick. And you saw Frank Clark came free right there, shed it easily, and that's what we thought might happen. That Frank Clark, one of the best players in Madden 20 in salary cap, but Kleck recognized it, able to take off right up the middle for a big gain with Mike Vick.
I believe in their last game, LilMan was able to force, I want to say it was 5 sacks against CleffTheGod. So far, the pressure hasn't even gotten there. Nice job by Kleck getting outside the pocket on the last play. He's using this entire first quarter clock. He's 28 yards away from Pater. Jalen Samuels, the halfback on the right hip of Michael Vick as he drops back to pass. Stepping out of the pocket, looking at the corner out. There's Torrey Holt, and Marshawn Lattimore takes it away. LilMan saying, you're not going to come into my house and score on the first drive. As Vick will run down Lattimore, but a Kleck turnover and frustration shown by CleffTheGod.
I can't believe Kleck threw that. I saw it from the beginning. I knew that was going to be a pick. I think he thought he had a couple steps on to the sideline. LilMan able to click on with that Marshawn Lattimore for a huge pick, and the little guy's excited.
Now back on offense with Gale Sayers. TD, how frustrating is it when you're able to get a stop on the first drive? You have the ability to get ahead of the clock on scoring, and you turn the ball over on your own side of the field.
Great point, Nick. I mean, Kleck, he got the stop. He drove all the way down the field inside the red zone. He throws a bad read. It really was. You cannot throw that type of corner out in this situation, especially in the red zone. If the windows get tighter, and now LilMan back in control.
Second down and 2. Handoff to Sayers up the middle, and he almost got out, but ran into one of his own big boys up front. He'll still pick up a first down.
Yeah, it looked like he could have broke that one for a touchdown. And this is what happens when LilMan plays. He just needs one little big play to happen, like that pick we saw, and then the juices start flowing. LilMan gets fired up, the passion comes out, and that's why he's one of the best players to watch, the most exciting players to watch on the competitive circuit.
Scoreless at the end of one. Sayers famously said, just give me 18 inches of daylight, that's all I need. Unfortunately right there, he only had about 15 inches of daylight, and he got stopped up. First down and 10. Stretch run left side for Sayers, trying to get outside the tackles, but once again, good pursuit from this Kleck defense, able to bring him down for a loss of 1.
impressed so far with Cleff's run defense. You know, he looks like he's vastly improved from group play and from the challenge, where he really struggled to stop these Oakland runs. This Oakland offense doing a much better job here. 2nd 11, we're going to see LilMan stick to the run game. Remember, LilMan does not have a quarterback. He's got Tress Way, the punter, in there, who gets those quicker handoff animations to the left side. Looks like he's in that single back wing flex close now.
Clock running down. He's going to move Lane Johnson over to the right side. He will run that stretch to the right side. And look at the recognition from CleffTheGod, TD. That is a perfect example of why you spend cap on secure tackle.
That's exactly why Kleck invested in that secure tackler with that Ed Reed. He's able to, it's a one-on-one in open space, you know, and that's tough to make a tackle in competitive Madden. That's why you get that secure tackler ability. It allows you to tackle, it gives you a better chance to tackle in the open field, and he does just that. And now a big 3rd and 7. LilMan going to stick to the ground game.
It looks like LilMan just outside of field goal range at the 45-yard line. It'll be a 62-yard attempt. Probably doesn't quite have the leg to get there. On 3rd and 7, into that I formation.
Let's go.
And it's going to be Sayers right up the middle. Look at the gap shoot from Kleck. Able to shut down that 3rd down run. Who else but Ed Reed?
Excellent defense by Kleck. Great gap recognition. You know, he came right through the A gap right there to make a clean tackle in the backfield with that Ed Reed again. And 2 punts by LilMan now. Kleck's run defenses look phenomenal.
This punt inside the 1. It'll be a touchback. So a net 26-yard punt, and you can see LilMan. That might be the most frustrated we've seen him today, and it was all over a punt.
Yeah, you know, great run defense by Kleck. And if you're Kleck, you know, that pick was frustrating, but you're now back in complete control here. He had a great first drive. He's got to get that going again, but when you get into the red zone, all points matter here. You know, you're playing great defense on LilMan. If you get in the red zone, you got to take your points. You cannot make mistakes down there.
1st down and 10 for Kleck. Oak Hill, Florida native, 23 years old. Pick drops back to pass on 1st down, and he might have the crosser. That's Torrey Holt, diving play. Could have had more if he was able to stay on his feet, but he made the catch, and he picks up a 1st down.
Yeah, wide open. You know, I'm wondering if Kleck kind of pressed the wrong button there. He went with the aggressive catch. I think if he would have rat caught that, he might have a huge play, maybe even a touchdown possibly. So kind of unfortunate, but still a big play for Kleck.
Vic's going to take off on 1st and 10, and he avoids the hit stick. Oh, Ryan Shazier was about to lay a little bit of lumber, and Vic gave him the old okey-doke.
Kleck actually put his outside receiver on a little hitch route. LilMan blitzed that corner on the outside. The hitch route was wide open. No one even near him. Kleck didn't see it, though, with the pressure coming at him, but he's able to scramble and pick up 9 yards.
2nd and short. We've seen Kleck run this throughout the tournament. He'll go into that near-close formation, give it to Kellen Winslow, and like a bulldozer, he moves through the middle of that defense, and Kleck sees a little opening, and he's going to hurry back. Actually, he's just going to let this run down to the 2-minute warning. So, TD, it's a scoreless game. We're still all tied up. Am I wrong to think, though, that Kleck feels like he's got all the momentum right now?
It definitely feels like Kleck is in control right now. He's had 2 great drives. Unfortunately, couldn't get any points. And we know with the way LilMan plays, his style, it's going to be a low-scoring battle. So Kleck, like I said, you got to get points here. You're playing great defense. You cannot make a mistake. And LilMan's hoping that Frank Clark comes through. He's sticking to his coverage defense.
1st down and 10. As Vic drops back, only a 3-man rush once again from LilMan. Here comes the linebacker, and down goes Vic. 1st sack of the game, and it's the hero for Kleck, Jerome Baker, on the other side.
LilMan sticking to that match concept on defense, and as you see, Kleck tried to motion out that deep post. He had another crossing route as well, and LilMan's safety just kind of matched onto the post, and looked like he would. Like, it looks like when you run a match, it looks like you have it for a second, then they kind of just get stuck on the defender, so it's not there. Kleck takes the sack. Now difficult 2nd and 18.
Here comes the blitz. Good pocket presence. He's got Holt down the field. And he's got a 1st down. Big hit on Torrey Holt. But he's got some secure hands as CleffTheGod reads the blitz perfectly and is inside the red zone.
Beautiful dot by the people's champ, CleffTheGod. LilMan switched up his coverage, went with a cover 2 blitz. Kleck was able to hit that corner out wide open on the sidelines, able to rack it for a nice gain, get up the field. And now he's in the red zone again here where he was last time, but you cannot make another mistake.
Interception last time he was in this position. Let's look at Frank Clark making moves, and Frank Clark disrupts the middle of the defense, and Ryan Shazier cleans it up.
Frank Clark, without a doubt in my mind, one of the best salary cap players all year. I mean, this guy fights on every play with that power specialist ability. As you saw that, he didn't get the sack, but he caused a lot of havoc in the backfield and then allowed Ryan Shazier to clean it up for a big sack for LilMan.
On 2nd and long. Was able to avoid a lot of the pressure on that first drive. No sacks for LilMan, but this drive, LilMan's been able to get to the quarterback. LilMan's saying 3-0 doesn't mean anything now. It's all about winning the next one. Vic steps up, pressure down, goes Vic again, and Kleck thought he might have had a touchdown. Look how LilMan is getting to get a little confidence.
Oh, man, that's so funny. Both guys thought they had a big play. Kleck thought he had a touchdown to the post. LilMan thought he was going to throw it and was going to pick it. But so for both guys, neither of the things happened, and it's a big sack, and now a very difficult 3rd and 18 for Kleck. I might just run a draw here or you know, kind of do something smart and take your points. You don't want to risk anything down here. We'll see what happens.
3rd and 18. Back into the bunch. 4-man rush from LilMan, and there's Frank Clark right up the middle. He finally got to the quarterback. So CleffTheGod throws an interception inside the red zone, TD. His 2nd chance, he takes 3 straight sacks. We'll have to settle for 3.
There goes that man again, Frank Clark. But, you know, for Kleck, he got sacked, and LilMan is out of timeout, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Kleck's going to be able to run this clock all the way down now to about 14 seconds or so, and he's going to go into the half with the lead. So, you know, I know Kleck is disappointed because 2 drives here, he could have had 2 touchdowns, especially that first drive. He could have had points, but he is going to have the lead going into the half.
As he will utilize this whole play clock. If you're Kleck, TD, you've played good defense. So taking the lead here, you're comfortable with that, but how nerve-wracking is it going against the runners, especially in this game where one missed tackle by your CPU, one missed, you know, a blocking assignment that gets downfield, and all of a sudden they've got a touchdown on the board.
No doubt about it. You know, one big play, one big run you break off with that Gale Sayers or whoever they have at running back in these tournaments. If you break one like that, it can change the complete game. It can change everything for you. The momentum, it can change. You know, if LilMan just broke one 7-3 going to the half on this last play here, it would change the complete outcome of the game. So it's definitely very scary when you're going up against these runners with those great offensive lines as well.
It's interesting talking to LilMan last night. I asked him, you know, thoughts on Kleck. You beat him in groups. You expect to see anything different? He said, listen, I got to run the same adjustments, find my run defense. He said, I hope this time he has 0 points. I don't want him crossing the 50-yard line. So far, Kleck's been able to buck that hope. He's crossed the 50-yard line twice, but if you're LilMan, you've only given up a field goal on the day as we'll hit halftime. It's 3-0.
Only 9 rushes for 17 yards from LilMan. Kleck's run defense has been phenomenal, and LilMan's going to have to make some adjustments here in the second half. He's going to have to find something else because Kleck's run defense, it looks like he's running a lot of the run defense Drini ran yesterday. You know, we know those guys are labbing together. Kleck wanted to shout out the Bleed It NFA crew helping him out, and so far Kleck's run defense has been phenomenal.
Well, a first half dominated a little bit by defense. It was CleffTheGod with the only score of the half. He'll take a 3-0 lead into halftime. Both these players, they're not shy about talking. They've been wired up and audible for home.
Oh, get out! Come on! All right, we good. Oh my! Come on, give it to me. It's open. Oh, that was a pick! It was throwing it! Oh my God, he just throwing it!
For those watching us on Twitch, remember to keep yourself available for our Twitch drops. Make sure to link your EA account to your Twitch account so you can receive bonuses like a 95 overall Rob Gronkowski. Always great to have Gronk on your roster. Just ask the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 95 overall Gronk is an exclusive Madden Bowl drop reward. Kleck has been one of the best, one of the most consistent players in the MCS era. Taking a look at best MCS win percentage. TD, look at CleffTheGod at the top, winning near at an 80% clip.
Unreal, and he wasn't on first on that list that last week he really just surpassed Deliverance for first in MCS win percentage. So that's incredible, man. To win nearly 80% of all these high-stake games, just unbelievable.
I wonder what's more impressive, TD, or what's more shocking, that he's won 80% of his games, or he has won 80% of his games and hasn't won a belt.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I wonder, you know, because Kleck, like we said, was so good at a young age at 12, and then he kind of didn't play Madden for years. You know, he was focused on football. He played college football, and then he was coaching high school football. So to me, I wonder, you know, if Kleck, you know, and obviously he loved football and wanted to play, but if he would have not played football and just focused on Madden, who knows what he would have accomplished. But ever since he's come onto the scene here these last few years, he's been one of the top guys in the game.
Dwight Freeney on the sack. The former first-round pick of the Indianapolis Colts. What a career he had. DN that ran a 4.48 40. That's just terrifying. That's why he was an absolute beast. Second and 15. Vic outside the pocket, being harassed. He'll throw this one to the popcorn vendor in row one.
This defense is so difficult to beat. Kleck, we know, one of the best passers, and he, you know, it's tough for him out there. We got that Frank Clark in the middle who's just fighting for you every play. You got two outside fast guys, an outside linebacker coming on the contains, so it's hard to roll out even. Then he's got a spy out there sometimes, and then he's got only three guys rushing, so he's got all these guys in coverage with the match concept. It's just very difficult for Kleck to get anything going.
Third and 15. Can Kleck find a first down play?
Let's go!
Waiting, looking, he's got a man down the field. Uh-oh, that's John Ross. He's a burner, and he's to the house. How about CleffTheGod with the absolute laser beam?
The super dot from CleffTheGod, the people's champ, and he's fired up. What a dot down the sideline to John Ross, and that's a huge touchdown to break the game open.
TD, he's been called CleffTheGod. I'm about to call him CleffTheDot with that throw.
Oh, man, John Ross just so fast, just on a streak route. That's all it was, a streak route. LilMan was on the corner route, streak route right down the middle for a huge touchdown.
Give me the ball. Let me get the ball, too.
What a play for the first touchdown. Let's take a look at our Snickers replay. TD, time in the pocket, and once John Ross gets over the top, he's out of here.
Just over the top, right down the seam, all that speed, and Kleck fired up with the super laser. I mean, just kind of a lasting coverage right there by LilMan. You know, he bit on the corner route, and then his safety just kind of played to the outside. John Ross right up the middle in the seam. What a play.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, LilMan fired a touchdown, and you see Kleck's defense starting to build. Look at that stat line. LilMan was one of the top rushers in group play. He only has 14 yards on the ground. Absolutely unbelievable defense so far from CleffTheGod as LilMan will get back into the I formation. Second down and 13. He's got Franco Harris at fullback. He'll give it to Sayers. He'll bounce outside. He's got a little bit of room inside the 30. He'll pick up a first down to the 38-yard line.
And now the pressure starts to build here on LilMan. He hasn't had much going with this ground game. Kleck playing phenomenal defense, and time's starting to work against you. It's two-possession game, so he needs to break one right there. That last play was a great run. It looked like he could have, if he would have made it one move, he could have broke one. But he's going to have to score and get down the field, get some points before the fourth quarter.
LilMan in 3 games in group play had 500 yards rushing.
There we go. Let's go.
So far, he's been bottled up, save for a few nice runs. As once again, that stretch run is not getting outside. It's the play of Bosa on the edge.
Kleck overly committing to the run, and he should, because there's no quarterback. Kleck blitzing his outside corners in this 3-3-5 wide meta run defense, blows it up in the backfield. Now 2nd and 13 for LilMan.
One outside right, it's Gale Sayers. LilMan, you know, he said, as we mentioned, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He wants everybody to stop doubting him. He said, I'm here for a reason, and I've done this for a long time for a reason. And I think that's the most impressive part about LilMan, TD, is his longevity in the game of Madden.
Look, LilMan has done it all when it comes to competitive Madden. There's nothing this guy hasn't done. I mean, 5th in the challenge last couple months ago. 2nd in the Madden 19 Classic. He's won underground tournaments for years all over the country. He's made runs in the old school Madden challenges. He's in his 7th major here in the MCS era. This guy has done it all, but the one thing that he needs to solidify himself as one of the greatest ever is that belt.
Clock running down 3rd and 2. Sayers trying to get outside. He'll pick up the first down and get 4 yards to the 50-yard line. As Gale Sayers trying to get going. We're talking with Kleck. Asked him about his great year. You know, he said, you know, it feels great to have this year, but right now all I want is the Madden Bowl title. And he's sort of unique, as you see a lot of these competitors moving to the content side and doing a lot of work on Twitch while we're all at home. He says he not only wants to be the best competitively, he wants to be the best content creator out there.
Without a doubt, and Kleck has a lot of fans out there, man. Like I said, he's one of the biggest superstars in our sport. He's very big on Twitch. You know, he's on Twitter. He's great at branding himself, and he's done a phenomenal job since he came into the game. And look, when you lose in the finals of one of these MCS live events, like Kleck did to Noah in the Madden Challenge, that will eat at you for a long time. Kleck looking for redemption here at the Madden Bowl.
Back into the I formation, trying to get Sayers going. Reminder, each one of these games today worth $10,000 with the win. I wouldn't even trust myself to play for $10, but these guys are out there playing for $10K inside Pizza Hut Stadium. Here comes Thomas in motion from the right side. Hands it to Sayers, and he is immediately met in the backfield. Nowhere to go. The door slammed shut by CleffTheGod.
LilMan motion over that Joe Thomas. He's got offensive lineman at receiver, but there's that Isaiah Simmons we've seen so much. 97 overall, one of the fastest linebackers in the game, blows it up in the backfield.
And a 3rd and 11, he blows it up in the backfield again. This time Adams coming down and making the play. And TD, you start looking up at that clock. It's still only 3rd quarter, but with LilMan's rush offense not working and using a lot of time, you start wondering how many more opportunities will LilMan have to come back in this game.
And this is what we saw yesterday with Volterax. You know, losing by this in the second half, when you don't have a quarterback, it makes it so difficult for you. LilMan, you can see, very frustrated because, you know, 4th and 7 or 4th and 10, you want to pass the ball. You can't really run the ball there. As he was forced to punt as we're heading in the 4th quarter. Just a very difficult predicament right now for LilMan to get out of.
Dangerous situation. The shadow of his own end zone. CleffTheGod from the 3-yard line. Be interesting to see if LilMan looks like he's set up to bring the heat and try to get to Michael Vick. Torrey Holt, Josh Cribbs, Kellen Winslow, and John Ross. Those are the weapons at the disposal of this offense. Lots of motioning, lots of flipping the play. He'll try to take off with Vick, but Frank Clark was there and says, hold on, young fella, you sit on down.
LilMan brought the heat right there, and if you're LilMan, you got to kind of bring the heat in this situation. You got to send everything you have at Kleck right now. It's do or die. You got to bring all the goons.
Can CleffTheGod shut the door on a possible comeback? He's up 10-0, but in a little bit of a predicament in his own end zone. It's time to head to the 4th quarter, and that's presented by Creamy Snickers. You're not smooth when you're hungry.
Oh, no, don't pressure me.
This party's garbage.
That bad, huh?
It is that bad. It's like a bag of zeros.
Try this creamy Snickers. You could use a little smoothness.
Is that one of the zeros?
Get smooth with the fresh ground nut butters and creamy Snickers.
Well, unfortunately for LilMan, he's got a bag of zeros on the scoreboard right now and only 5 minutes to deal with it in this $10,000 quarterfinal matchup. A spot in the Final Four on the line. And CleffTheGod in control, 10-0 lead. Pressure, down goes Vick, but he gets out of the end zone. Oh, Mays got around the edge, and Vick is able to stretch that ball over the goal line and get to the 1.
Oh boy, nearly a safety, which would have put LilMan completely back in the game. And this is where Kleck, he doesn't have a running back. So we talked about LilMan having no quarterback, but Kleck doesn't have a running back. He just wants to use some of his clock, and he would like to mix in some draws, but he really can't. This is right here the biggest play of the game. LilMan's got to get a stop.
And he throws that little hitch route to the right side. I actually love that call, even though he doesn't pick up the first down. It's a safe play to give him a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to get those 5 yards, get out of his own end zone, and he's going to use some clock. He's going to be able to take off about 40 seconds here of the game clock. But now LilMan, he should have decent field position. So this game is very much alive for him. If he can get the ball at about the 50 or so, you know, get about 10, 15 yards. He has a great kicker on his roster. Kick that field goal with plenty of time, get a stop. It's a ball game, 1 possession. So the game is definitely not over here.
Well, and even though LilMan is a veteran of the Madden game, you know, we have seen him at times let the emotions overwhelm him and, you know, let some of the disappointment of how the game has come. I don't know if it shade his judgment, but at least affect his gameplay. Is there a danger of that happening right here? Because, you know, he feels like he's given away a couple plays. Should have had a safety there, and he's still down 10-0 with under 4 to go.
Yeah, definitely. A couple plays that got away from him. But look, he's at the 42 now. Not a great punt from Kleck. If I'm LilMan, I might just try to get a couple yards here and kick my points now.
Sayers, nowhere to go. That's easier said than done. How impressed have you been by Cleff's defense today?
Man, so impressive. That's been Cleff's kryptonite, you know, his whole Madden career this year. And right now, he's playing amazing run defense.
Big hit on Sayers. Let's be honest. Listen, we love these $10,000 games in Madden. We love crowding a Madden champion. But I feel like the greatest comeback, as you mentioned, LilMan, he's just going to take his 3 points and try to play some defense. A 57-yard field goal is up and good. TD, I feel like the biggest story right now, how about the comeback from one great user right now in position? There's still lots of time left, but in position to get a third pick correct in a row.
Captain America is here. He's making the right picks now. But back to this game, I mean, now the pressure is kind of switched here to Kleck. LilMan got his points quickly. There's plenty of time left. Kleck is going to have to get a couple first downs to ice this ball game.
2:55 to go with Vic dropping back to pass. Blitz picked up nicely, waiting, looking. He's looking deep downfield. That's John Ross again. Inside the 30, inside the 25-yard line. Kleck with one play gets in field goal position and could possibly seal this game.
One of the clutchest and biggest dots you will ever see. I mean, Kleck, that seals the game basically for him now. He went with the double post over the top. LilMan had no answer for it, and now Kleck in field goal range. He can really run all this clock and go up by 10. Wow, and you could see LilMan very frustrated. That was a big play from Kleck.
That sort of pass you usually call a laser beam. I'm going to call it a Clazer beam for CleffTheGod, as he's been dotting up here in the second half. It was 3-0, and Kleck had some nice runs with Vic, had some nice underneath passes, but it's been 2 bombs to John Ross in the second half that's been the difference.
John Ross has been huge for Kleck. That's why he loves that 99 speed. And man, like we said, you talk about that it factor, that clutch gene. Kleck definitely has it, man. He just seems to cook up these plays in the perfect situation or get big stops in the perfect situation like we saw yesterday. And that dot right there, you know, is probably going to seal the game. LilMan will have a chance, but it's going to be very difficult with not a lot of timeouts left.
You never know what'll happen, though, in the game of John Madden football. We saw yesterday, Kleck lead a clutch drive down the field. Everybody was going, man, Henry's going to have a chance to maybe get a field goal. At the very least, we're going to overtime, and one play later, we were talking about how CleffTheGod is ClutchTheGod. 3rd and 7. Back into that near close formation. Flipping the play. As this will surely be a handoff to Kellen Winslow. Pick up some yards, utilize one of those timeouts for LilMan as he'll get down to the 17-yard line. Now, we're late in the game, but let's talk a little Madden strategy, TD. For the people at home, whether you maybe ones who haven't played a lot of Madden, what does flipping the play so much do to maybe help the offense move down the field?
Yeah, so especially when you're in a passing formation like gun bunch, we see that a lot from some of our best passers. It's really going to, you know, force the defense to mess up their alignments. If they're going to have some guys manned up on your slot, whether they're on the bunch side or whatever, and you kind of flip it, it's going to have to make them reset their play, redo the adjustments, and if you can kind of flip it a couple times, then quick snap your play, it really can mess up the defense and catch them off guard.
Job ain't done yet. Job ain't done.
13-3. As CleffTheGod has dominated the second half. Can LilMan find a miracle? It's going to have to be Gale Sayers working his way down the field, because this is where it's hard to be a runner, TD. It's hard to come back when you're down by multiple scores because you don't have that passing attack.
Without a doubt, this is what we talked about. You know, not having a quarterback in these situations makes it very tough. And, you know, LilMan is going to have to kind of break a big run here with Gale Sayers, and then he's going to probably need an onside kick, which are very difficult to do. But LilMan, you know, always has some tricks up his sleeve, so you never know.
13-3, $10,000 on the line with a win here. And You know, Ty, we talked about how momentum's a real thing, especially for these players, and you see Kleck. His demeanor seems totally different from group play. He seems to be sitting up. He seems to be really jiving with his music and really feels like he's in control.
I definitely agree. And, you know, after he kind of got flooded by Noah in that third game, it seemed like his confidence was low, but then he bounced back, and he's about a minute and 50 left from being in the Final Four of the second straight EA major. Incredible.
We'll make tackles. That's all I want. Let's make tackles, fellas. Let's go.
CleffTheGod urging his team on, saying just wrap up. That's all we're looking for. Wrap up. Don't let him break a big run. As back to line quickly is Sayers, and he's got his first big run of the day, and he's only got one guy to beat. That's the user with Reed, and he's going to beat him. LilMan's going to have a chance. He needed that play. Gale Sayers finds the end zone for the first time.
The big play LilMan needed, but is it a little too late? He's going to need an onside kick, down 3, and is he thinking about going for 2 right here? I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so, but he's going to need an onside kick, Nick. Could we see one happen here at the Madden Bowl?
It would be the ultimate improbable play. We've seen clutch interceptions. We've seen kickoff returns. But this is a play that has been so hard to convert. Can LilMan keep his hopes alive? It's all up to this kick. An onside kick. Kleck with a recovery can put that $10K in his pocket and a spot in the Final Four. I've never been this amped for an onside kick, and they're making us wait for it. They're building the tension.
Oh my goodness.
Kick is away, and it's picked up by Treadwell. Looking for the strip. He's down to the ground, and CleffTheGod has sealed a victory, TD.
Yeah, I mean, 1% chance of getting an onside kick this year. You just never really see it. And CleffTheGod, the people's champ, the rising star in our community, he's going to advance to the second straight Final Four. And wow, what a performance. What great defense by Kleck.
And for LilMan, once again, coming up just shy of a Final Four, of a big payday. But it doesn't overshadow, TD, what has been a great year for LilMan. And he doesn't show any signs of slowing down here in the Madden community.
Without a doubt, like we said, LilMan is arguably top 10 ever in Madden history. Another great season, but today is the story of CleffTheGod. He's going to win 13-10. He played great defense, and he had the clutchest dots on offense when he needed it most.